Hi, Dave Jones here again. We're going to carry on with these theory lessons as they pertain to the guitar, and this lesson is on chords, or starting with how to construct chords from the scales that we looked at so far. Now, a chord, I'm sure if you're bothering to study theory, you all know how to play a good few chords on the guitar now and strum and change between them and everything, because that's the main purpose to start with. But now you want to start to understand how these things are made up and how they work together, which is the purpose of the theory lessons. So a chord is two or more notes really sounded together in a strum or on a guitar, or you can play them on other instruments obviously as well, piano, etc. But the chords are used to accompany songs or melodies, and that's the harmony that goes behind it is bunches of chords stuck together. Now, a three-note chord, which is the most common chord that we're going to look at, major and minor chords are three-note chords. They're known as triads. Now, the first note of a chord, because I'm going to explain how they're made up in a minute, is called it's the note that gives the chord its name, and it's called the root note. So the triad, the major or minor chord that we're going to look at, can be constructed from any of the major scales we looked at so far. We looked at the major chords first, and then we'll move on to the minor chords in a moment. So the major scales we've looked at so far, if you're following this series of lessons, C major, G major, D major, and F major. Now, the chord is taken by taking notes and omitting notes from the scale. Because a C note, for example, and a D note played together then don't sound very pleasant together. A C note and the next note after D and E sound very nice together. So what happens is, if you remember the construction of the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the triad is made, like the C major triad from the C major scale, is made by taking the first, the root note, C, omitting the second, taking the third note, E, omitting the fourth, F, and taking the fifth note, G. So the spelling, like the spelling of the scale was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the spelling of the triad is 1, 3, 5. So C, E, G. It's called it can be called well, it is an arpeggio, but when you play them all together, it's a chord. So it's constructed from the first, third, and fifth of the major scale. So C major, C, E, G, missing out the second and the fourth. Chords can be extended, and I will be going into that in another lesson, to sevenths, etc. But we're just sticking with the triads at the moment. The G major triad is taken from the G major scale. G, missing the A, taking the B, and then missing the C and taking the D. A D major triad is from the D major scale. You take the third, D, sorry, you take the first, root, D, then the F sharp, so you miss the E out, and then the A. And F major triad is made up of F major scale, again, same thing. Take the F, A, sorry, I'll get the A probably, shall I? C. Now, when you're playing them on the guitar, you don't only play three notes. When I say three notes, you don't have to play that as a C major chord. I'm sure you all know a C major chord, but that's still only got those three notes in. Any major chord has only got three notes in. It's just that it just so happens the way the guitar's constructed, etc. You can play more than one note. So we've got C. If we're playing down for C major chord, you've got your fingers on a C major chord. You go C, you've got an E, you've got G, you've got C, and an E. So you've still only got C, E, G, but there's a couple of C's. And the way the chords played in different places, wherever you play them, wherever you play a major chord, if you play an F, you've got an F, C, another F, an A, another C, another F. So lots of the same notes in different octaves to each other, but still only the three notes of an F major chord, F, A, and C. The minor triads can be constructed from the parent minor, natural minor scales. if you remember the spelling of the minor scale was 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7 and 8. And we take the same steps. We take the 1, the 3 and the 5 to make a minor triad. But the third in a natural minor scale is flattened. So you're taking the 1, the flat 3 and the 5. So in an A minor, from the A natural minor scale, if you're following these lessons, we've got A, C, E. In the E natural minor, we've got E, G, B. In the B minor triad, we've got B, D, F sharp. In the D minor triad, we've got D, F, A. Again, if you play the full chord on the guitar, if you played an E minor chord, you've got 6 strings ringing there, but you've still only got 3 notes. You've still only got the 1, the E, the flat 3, in E's case the G, and the 5, B. You've got E, B, another E, G, another B, another E. So it just so happens on the guitar that you can, if you want to play an E minor chord, if you want to, you can strum all 6 strings, but you've only got 3 notes. So that's how triads are constructed, or basic major and minor chords are constructed, by taking the 1, the 3 and the 5 from a major scale, and you get the relevant triad. So C major, like I said, C, E, G comes from the C major scale, the 1, 3, the 5. The only difference between the major chord and the minor chord is the third. If you look at the major chord, if you're printing the sheet off, it's got 1, 3, 5. You look at the minor triad, it's got 1, flat 3, 5. Now this is where it sort of works back to the guitar again, because if you've ever, which I'm sure you have done, or if you're following any of the other lessons up on the website, a power chord has got a 1 and a 5 in it, which is why it's sometimes known as a power chord, but it's got no 3 in it. So you can't tell whether it's major or minor, because it doesn't come down to the third there. If we're playing an F, and I take my finger off, that's F minor, because you can hear that's the third fall into the flat third. Major, minor, power chord, no third in it. You can't hear whether it's major or minor. Same with if you can't play F yet, take it to an E minor chord. There's an E major chord. Moving this finger flattens the third. So it's major, minor, power chord, no third in it. Can't tell whether it's major or minor. The major chords have to most people's idea, a bright, happy sound, and the minor chords have a sort of more sad, soulful type sound to them, which is good to get used to. It's going into oral training, and we'll come into that later on, but it's good to get a grip of whether your chords are major or minor. So I hope you've got that useful, and find it useful, and how to construct a triad. And then we'll go on in the next lesson how to extend them to major 7, minor 7 and dominant 7 chords by adding another note. So I'll see you again sometime.